Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, I do car customizations quite often in Grand Theft Auto Online, but today I wanted to try to recreate an actual person's RX7 in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, we just got the ZR350 into the game. It's based off an RX7 in real life, and I thought about doing this as soon as I got my hands on it, but I decided to wait a couple days for all the hype to die down. Anyways, I'm looking forward to getting into this. Today, we're going to be recreating TJ Hunt's 1994 Mazda RX-7. TJ Hunt is an automotive YouTuber. He makes super good videos, super good content. Go check him out if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you are probably aware of who TJ Hunt is, but in case you weren't, now you know. Anyways, so we're going to be trying to recreate his car in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let's hop into it. Alright guys, so starting off with the armor, we're going to go all the way up on that. For the brakes, we're also going to go all the way up, of course. Now for the bumpers, we have front and rear options for this car. For the front bumper, I'm going to show you guys all of them. But we're actually going to be going for the painted cutout bumper because I think it is probably the closest to the one TJ Hunt actually has in real life. For the rear bumpers, we're going to go for the rear diffuser. The primary tip diffuser is there too, but I want to go for the rear. Next up, for the engine, we have a few options. We got the engine block. We're actually going to be leaving this stock. We could change it to primary or secondary, but it looks better stock, I think. Next up, we got the air filters. Now, I've decided that the primary turbo intake system is the one that is closest to what TJ Hunt actually has in his car, so we're going to go for that. For the strut brace, TJ Hunt doesn't actually even have one of these in his car, as far as I know at least. So I figure we're going to go for the triangulated one just to try to get rid of as much surface area as we can, if that makes sense. Next up, for the engine, we're going to tune it all the way up, of course. And for the intercoolers, we are going to add the custom intercooler. There's also a few other ones that we could add, but I personally think the custom intercooler looks the closest to what he actually has in real life. Next up, for the exhaust, we don't have any single exit options in this game, which is what TJ Hunt has, so we're gonna have to make do with what we got. I'm gonna show you guys all the exhausts really quick. We do have a couple of these. There's still a dual exit, but I mean, they're on one side, but it's just not what he has. So we're going to actually go for the street exhaust. Next up, we got the fenders. We're actually going to be leaving these completely alone. You could customize these, obviously, if you want to, but we're not going to today. Next up, for the headlights, we could add sleepy or drowsy eyes. The thing about TJ Hunt's car is he actually has removed his pop-up headlights. He's actually just got permanent ones. I personally think it looks great either way. I actually like what he's done with his car a lot. Next up, we got the hood, and we can add hood catches if we want to, but TJ Hunt doesn't have any on his car, so we're actually just going to leave them straight off. For the hood though, we can add a see-through hood, carbon stock hood, ribbed hood, carbon ribbed hood alt, carbon ribbed hood alt, or the cutting vent hood. The cutting vent hood is actually what we're going to be going with today because that's the closest to what TJ Hunt has. Obviously, we can't copy exactly because we don't have a hood that's perfect, but I will show you the other options just so you guys know, but none of these really fit with what he actually has. So the cutting hood it is. Next up, we got the interior, and for the dash, we're going to go for a street interior. We could go for like a fully stripped race interior, but that's not what TJ Hunt has, so I figured we'd just go for the street interior. Now for the dials, TJ Hunt does actually have a tachometer, I believe, mounted. He might even just have a single tach. I think we're going to go for the double tach because, you know, why not? The doors, we're actually going to leave these alone completely. There are a bunch of options here, but TJ Hunt has, you know, a full street interior, so we're just going to leave it like that. For these seats, the stock seats are actually pretty close to what TJ Hunt has. He's got his name engraved into his seats, but we can't really do that in GTA, obviously, so we are just going to be leaving the seats stock because I think they look generally pretty close to what he actually has. Next up, for the steering wheels, it's pretty hard to say exactly, you know, what steering wheel we should go for. Obviously, his car's a manual, so it wouldn't really have paddle shifters, but a lot of these wheels actually do have paddle shifters, so I think we're going to go for the Rally Basic. Next up, for the roll cage, TJ Hunt doesn't have a roll cage to my understanding, so we're not actually going to be adding one, but these are what they look like if you did want to. Next up, we got the headlights. We're going to go xenon, of course. For the livery, TJ Hunt doesn't have a livery on his car. I will show you what all the liveries look like, though. But obviously, we're not going to go for any. Next up, for louvers, TJ Hunt doesn't have louvers on his car, so we're going to be leaving these straight off. For the mirrors, TJ Hunt actually has mirrors that are pretty similar to this, but they're in black. Unfortunately, these are going to have to stay with the primary color of the car. We can't make them black, so that kind of sucks, but there's nothing we can really do. So next up for the plate, I'm going to put it yellow on black. I know TJ doesn't probably have a yellow on black plate because it's the old California plate, but I want to put it on my car, so that's just what I'm doing. Now for the respray, TJ Hunt's car obviously is white, so we're going to go for a ice white. Next up for the secondary color, we're actually going to be going for a carbon black. That is going to come into play pretty soon here. You guys are going to see why I did that. Now for the trim color, we've got it black in here. That's what TJ Hunt's interior looks like. It's black too. So, but what is different about his car is the accent color, which actually does the gauge cluster color. I believe his are red or orange, but the red is really dark in Grand Theft Auto. So I think we're going to go for bright orange as our color of choice here, because as you can see, red is pretty dark. So I like the bright orange just because it pops a little bit more. So we're going to go for that. Next up for the roof, we could add a race scoop. There's several different options. TJ Hunt doesn't have one, so we're not going to add it. Next up for these skirts, we got a lot of skirts here. We could go for some street skirts, you know, carbon street skirts. These are, you know, closer to what TJ Hunt has. He actually has carbon skirts on his. So I'm going to scroll through these, let you guys see all of them. Now, these ones are interesting because they actually add a carbon bit to the back there, but TJ Hunt doesn't actually have that. So I think we're going to be going for the custom carbon skirts because TJ doesn't have carbon on the back bumper there. So we're going to go for the custom carbon skirts and leave it like that. Now for the splitters, TJ Hunt has the bottom of his bumper painted black, or maybe even carbon fiber. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's actually carbon. So basically there's nothing we can really do about this. There's a bunch of splitters in the game, but they all add canards, which I don't want to add to the car because TJ doesn't actually have those. So instead we're going to go for the secondary color splitter so that it gives a nice little metallic shine there. Next up we got the spoiler, and basically the spoiler is not going to really be 100% accurate to his car either, but we have the optional spoiler, which is white, or we have the secondary optional spoiler, which is black, which is a little bit closer to what he has. Basically the sides of his spoiler are painted white with the middle being carbon fiber. So this is pretty much the closest we can get to that, unfortunately. I will scroll through all the spoilers so that you guys can see them if you do care. There you have it. So that's what it's looking like so far. Next up we got sun strips. We could add a sun strip. We're not actually going to though because TJ doesn't actually have one. So we're going to skip out on that too. Now for the suspension, we're going to lower this thing all the way down. And for the taillights, you can actually change the color of the taillight glass on this car. And TJ has got darkened rear lights, I believe. So we're going to go for red taillight glass. Obviously there's a bunch of different colors. We're going to go for red though, because that's what he has, I believe. Next up for the transmission, all the way up of course, and the turbo as well. One of the last things we're going to do here is the wheels, guys, and we're going to go to the street section of wheels, and we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom here super quick, and then we're going to scroll up, and the wheels we want for this thing are the Endo V4 dished. Now we're going to select that. Now for the wheel color, TJ Hunt actually has their super dark purple. So the closest thing we're going to be able to do to that effect in GTA is obviously midnight purple. So we're going to put midnight purple on, and I think it honestly looks really good. It looks pretty close. His are a little bit maybe brighter and shinier, but I feel like these do the job pretty well. For the tires, we can go bulletproof, of course. I know TJ Hunt probably doesn't have bulletproof tires in real life, but you know, we're going to add them because it's GTA. Next up here, we got the windows, and this is the last thing we're going to be doing is tinting the windows all the way out. As you guys can see, I think it actually turned out pretty well. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate to TJ's car in real life, but it is pretty close, I think. It's pretty much as close as I think we can actually get it in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm going to take this thing down to the ground, and I'm going to show you guys around the car. Alright guys, here we are on the ground. We've got the car right in front of us. I'm actually going to turn it on super quick. As you guys can see, I think it turned out pretty well. We're going to do a quick little walk around the car here. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate. I really wish that they added a single exit exhaust option for this car. I think that would have been, you know, pretty cool of them, but, you know, obviously we don't have it, so nothing we can really do. Basically, just have to work with what we got. But as you guys can see, I think it looks pretty good. Now, there's one more thing we can do to this car, and I believe TJ Hunt's car is actually on bags, and this thing is too, as it turns out. We can lower the stance of it and hunker it down like that, and now it looks pretty darn good, I think. Let's actually get out the flashlight here, and I'll shine it on the car so you guys can actually see it a little bit better. The lighting in Grand Theft Auto is not too good right now, so forgive me for that. But as you guys can see, I think it turned out really well. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much it for the customization today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of it. Go check out TJ Hunt's channel if you haven't seen him already. He makes really good videos, as I mentioned before. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.